Hello, everyone, and welcome to Language Talks. Today, we have with us a distinguished German language specialist with over 3 decades of rich and diverse experience. From teaching at Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur, to training professionals at Mercedes-Benz, Research and Development India, and Deutsche Bahn, she has shaped countless language learning journeys. She has presented at national and international teachers' conferences and recently spoke on integrating AI with German teaching. She has presented this at the North Zone German Teachers Conference. Her work spans language teaching, translation, cultural training, and empowering marginalized communities through education. And I should not forget writing. It's an absolute honor to welcome Kalyani to the show. Welcome to the show, Kalyani.
Hi, Lalita. Thank you so much.
Hi.
I'm very
You're
happy to be a
welcome.
part of this.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. I would like to start by asking you, Kalyani, tell us what drew you to study German seriously?
Learning German, there's a very long story behind it. As I told you that I'm from Indore basically, right? And I was still doing my masters in English literature those days when I got a chance to do interpretation for a team of young German PhD scholars who were visiting India and several other countries to work on their thesis on living conditions of working women in the third world. So I was just like, out of nowhere, I was asked to do interpretation for them because those days, not many people in Indore used to speak English. Yeah, so I could luckily speak Hindi and English, both the languages very well. So I was, and meeting those German scholars, young women, that was the turning point of my life. And that actually encouraged me, that actually gave me an idea. And after having worked with them, they were very happy with my work. And then they just suggested that, Kalyani, if only you knew German, we would have taken you with us to Germany. And
Oh, okay. This is interesting.
but then, of course, I was doing my master's in literature. And in those days in Indore, there were not many facilities. I mean, foreign language was a very new thing those days. Yeah. But luckily, through a family friend, we came to know that there is an institute in Pune, Max Muller Bhavan. And I just hoping with a lot of uh, anticipation, I applied, and then luckily they said yes, please do come and join us. And those days there was no A1 and A2, and A1, A2. Those days it was G1, G2, G1, G2, G3.
Right.
I just went on and on and on, and that's how my studies started. And
That's so nice to hear that something triggers something else. This is so
absolutely,
nice.
absolutely, absolutely.
So, how did your journey with the German language begin thereafter? I mean, it began with Max Bhavan, Pune,
Maximum
but
Bhavan. No, I mean, Maximum Bhavan was fantastic. That was one of the nicest things that could have happened to any young girl, from coming from a small, comparatively a smaller city like Indore. And nothing was easy, but nothing was boring. And the learning experience, the teachers, the director, Manfred Lechner probably was the director at that time. And amazing atmosphere, very charged, and there was so much to learn to, there's so much to look forward to. The teachers, those, my God, I mean, I just remember each and all housewives, sari clad, bindi, walis, all the teachers, mostly many of them with their husbands, and uh, what atmosphere they had created. It was magic actually. And I
Mhm.
had a lovely time. I stayed there and completed my MSY, that is Mittelstufe, if I were to speak in today's terms. And yeah, it was very good. So after completing this, then I all of a sudden another very good happened. A very good thing happened to me, that I met my childhood friend Aman after almost 12 years, and it was kind of a love at first sight. And he was doing his PhD from JNU, and he said, Kalyani, if you're really serious about German language, then this MA in English literature from Indore is not going to help you. You have to do masters in German studies as well. So after my marriage, I applied for the entrance test at JNU, that is national level. I got through, and luckily, Maximal Bhavan had prepared me so well that I got direct admission in MA program. And then that's how I did my master's in German studies from JNU. I finished it by 95.
That's great. You equipped yourself with everything, whatever was available in the market
Whatever was
for
available, that's true. That's
German.
very true. Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
great. Yes. You worked in both academic institutions and the corporate sector.
Yeah.
So, how was that experience? I mean, how did it shape your perspective as a trainer?
Uh, it's a very good question, actually, Lalita, because both these cases, both these sectors um, cater to different needs of our lives, right? So, where academic institutes like IIT Kanpur, IIT Kanpur was the another good thing that could have happened to anyone who is yearning to teach German language, and that also just was offered to me on a platter. So I always say that many things God uh, gave me a lot of difficulties in my life, but lot of things also happened to me so automatically out of nowhere, and like a gift that I received them. So this job was also like that, and the students were like, very curious, really wanted to know. And there was a certain difference. There's a certain difference when we are talking about academic institutes and corporate sector, right? So, and academics, because the people want to prove themselves, yeah, they really want to go in for bigger jobs, better jobs, secure jobs. So they really want to give their 100%, especially students of IIT Kanpur, because there's a lot is at stake. Many of them have come with loans and all that. Many of them coming from very poor families. At least until then, it was the case. Now I don't know how they are going to manage, but until then, that was the case. So there was fair amount of hard work, rigor, and IIT Kanpur like institutes also give a lot of freedom to the teachers. How to design the program, how to on what aspect of the language you have to lay stress and all that. Whereas in corporate sector, it is a much restricted, very limited, very well defined programs. Yeah, neither the teacher nor the students have the liberty to cross those boundaries. You have to follow a certain schedule. Yeah. And then secondly, because like as I told you that I have taught at Mercedes-Benz, somebody who already has a secure job at a place like Mercedes-Benz, that motivation level is much lesser. Yeah. Whereas a student who is yearning to go to Germany for his masters or for his PhD, for him the motivation is greater, him or her. Yeah. But here the employed people have, and of course with employment then comes a lot of other responsibilities. So they didn't have time, and they also lacked little bit of motivation. Yeah. But Mercedes Benz, as a pleasant surprise to me, provided fantastic learning atmosphere to the students and also to us, and very good experience at Mercedes Benz. So
That is so nice to know.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Deutsche Bahn, na? Yeah, Deutsche Bahn
huh.
was a yeah, it was a new set up in India. Deutsche Bahn in itself in Europe is an old entity, very established, very valued and respected, and But in India, it was so they were still learning to do with the Indian ways of life. So it was not as smooth as Mercedes Benz. Mercedes Benz was a well-oiled machinery, I can say.
You talked about teaching the industry, teaching the corporate and the
Yeah.
schools as well. You are also teaching nurses who are pursuing their career in Germany. So please tell us about that experience also.
Yeah, so this is a relatively a new experience for me. Since 2022, I'm teaching the nurses. So there's a company, and so teaching those nurses was another eye opener, because I always see things from a very social perspective, that I don't see it as something only as a profession where I have to deliver this much and then I have to get out of the scene. Yeah. So I really want to go deeper, want to understand where do my students come from so that I can help them better. Yeah. And I realized that yeah, this is a difficult sector. Yeah. The nurses have absolutely no idea anything about outside of their own hometowns. They are not aware of anything about Germany. So to present Germany as a country and as a cultural unit, where how the Germany looks like, then I have to show them a lot of videos. How do Germans look like? How is German spoken? How is German heard as a language? What is the sound of the language? So these are the things. And because of their very limited exposure to the world, as such, um, it takes time for them to learn. I know there's a lot of inhibitions and all that, but again, I mean, after once they are comfortable with you, then there is no stopping. But yeah, nursing sector is a difficult sector for me. I mean, I do feel very bad about this. I mean, they have 14 to 16 hours of duties. and all those problems, the usual problems that are we see in our society. And,
Right. And on top of that, they have to learn a new language and work very hard for them.
true, very true. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So while teaching, like you mentioned, you have to bring Germany to them at their door and
yeah,
show them
yeah.
everything.
Absolutely, absolutely.
According to you, how important is teaching cultural context and
Very.
making them aware of it? I mean, not only nurses, to the general students who might go to Germany or who are pursuing their careers.
Yeah. So now cultural component is actually uh, so important. We nowadays, of course, there is this intercultural thing, and those things are happening. But even otherwise, right from the day one, we have to, at least they have to imagine that what Germany could be like. Yeah, I mean the people are clueless about it. I mean, I know for myself. I mean, 35 years ago, when I met those German women, those tall, lanky, 6 feet women, in their free time, they used to enjoy their BDs and they would love it, and but for me it was a cultural shock. Yeah, and I was totally fascinated looking at them. So we have to even tell our students, engineers especially, that please get used to the fact that you will get to see a lot of women in the workplaces. You will see many women mechanics and drivers. Yeah, don't look so aghast, and don't keep looking at them in surprise or in shock. Yeah, so lot of things. Then their punctuality, I mean, of course now I don't want to make it a very stereotypical thing, but when you compare it with India, then obviously, yeah. So if it is 4 baje ka meeting, then people are tumbling down at 4:10, 4:09, 4:19. We accept that. कि चलो ठीक है types. But then that is one thing that we have to say. And another thing is very interesting is we also need to tell them about the similarities between German and Indian languages, right? Like unlike English, in Indian and German languages are very similar when it comes to addressing people, formal and
Correct.
sitzen and dutzen, right? So yeah.
Right.
So
Mm.
initially we do have to tell them that for icebreakers you have to be very very polite. Yeah, you don't have to be like submissive, but very polite and firm but polite. Yeah. Then about food habits, timings. Yeah, even their work culture. We have appointments. Appointments is one thing which has to be really drilled into them, that if you say yes to an appointment, then please stay by that. And
Yeah.
for some reason, if you're not able to stick to that timing, at least inform them well in advance that I'm unable to come on time, so I'm apologize. Maybe shall we look at it at some other time or something. So these are little things that and many students at Mercedes-Benz and Deutsche Bahn have told me that, ma'am, after having gone to Germany and having seen them work, we realize that they have a different way of looking at things. Students themselves realize that the problem solving or any matter that they tackle, they have another way of looking at it. Very very clinically, they look at things, which
Right.
we often tend to look at from by experiences or by examples of our peers or our elders. But for them, everything is very meticulous, very clinical about it. So these cultural aspects are important. And so
Okay.
yeah.
Yes, yes, that's so true. So, in your 3 decades of experience of teaching, so can you tell us how the landscape has changed, the teaching landscape?
Yeah. Teaching landscape has changed, and also Germany itself has changed.
Oh,
I
yes,
remember
that's
my first visit to Germany, and I had uh, I had gotten off at a wrong bus stop in Frankfurt. Near Frankfurt, there is a small, not I wouldn't call it a village, but a small locality. Uh, it's very very close to Hanau, yeah, where those three Grimm brothers lived and all that, and they have this huge statues erected in their memory, and their house has been converted into a small museum. So my friend was staying there, and I was staying with this friend, and I lost her address. I mean, I lost my way, and I asked two schoolgirls, and I spoke German, but the way they looked at me and the way they ran away, as if they have seen some piece of monster or some, you know, they were so
okay.
scared. Yeah, and that was not very, uh, just about 25, 30 years ago, right? And but today when I visited last only in 2019. I see many more Indian faces, many more Asian faces in Germany, and Germans have opened up considerably in last few years to foreigners in their countries. It's uh, it's their compulsion, out of their own compulsion, out of their own requirements or whatever, but now things are different from what it was. Speaking about landscape, uh, there is something to cheer about, and there is something to feel bad about. Yeah. So now, when I think of my teachers, I thought that they were really thorough people. Very very thorough, and lot of importance was given, lot of emphasis was given on the correctness of the language, the way the language is learned. Very systematically, very vigorously, very rigorously. That rigor is missing now. So, I mean, but as I said, that today's German is mostly communication based German. Yeah. So the communication is important, not the correctness of your language. How, so far as communication is happening, all is well. Yeah. And because more and more people have to be sent, more and more people are coming in to learn German. So it's also a pressure on the system, or on the examiners, or the people who are teaching German, that somehow you have to, uh, let go. Yeah. So
Yeah,
that is the mushrooming of schools, German schools. So I am very scared. I'm scared of starting anything new. As it is, as I told you, I'm technologically little challenged person. So, but I see, yeah, people half my age doing A1, A2, and they have their own classes starting. Yeah, and they start teaching German. So,
that is
and,
true.
and somewhere something is missing. Yeah. I mean, it could be like, somebody getting old and cribbing about the past, golden past. But I do feel that we need to, all those components you mentioned, this cultural component, for example. Yeah. I mean, many people don't know that which city is in Germany. I mean, Salzburg is in Germany. This is also you hear. Um, so, these are some of the worrying aspects. But very charged up mahal right now, very charged up atmosphere right now. Many people want to really go out and give their 100% and learn the language, do well, and get a job there. I see many young girls and boys in last so many years have settled down in Germany after having spent some time in Germany. Then they moved to Italy because they thought that was a better place for them, suiting their habits and their nature. It's a boom time so far as foreign language learning is concerned, and German especially, because Germany continues to be a very attractive destination uh, for our students and for our aspirants.
Kalyani, you mentioned that you started teaching online on Skype, and that was not very popular at that time. I mean, nowadays, though, it is very common.
Yeah,
So, about that incident.
that was very funny. I mean, I was in Germany at that time, and I got a call from a Bengali couple. They were in China at that time, and they said that, ma'am, now we have worked in China, it's all very good, but we want to explore other places. So can you please teach us German? I said, look, I'm in Germany for another 8 weeks. How will I do that? So he said, no, don't worry, we will teach you how to teach on Skype. Then they taught me how to work on Skype, and then I started teaching German on Skype. And when I came back to India, because we were living in a one godforsaken corner of the Bangalore city, Sarjapur, right? And distances, because all my life, all my married life, I have lived on the campuses, thanks to my husband. Yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, 8 9 years on JNU campus, 7 8 years in IIT Kanpur, then 1 year in TIFR Mumbai. So likewise, we had lived a very protected life. Never really went, and my son was very small. That was another reason I was reminded of again and again, that you can't leave him anywhere. But then 2013, I started teaching German online, and those days nobody believed me. I mean, not believe me. They were suspicious, or they were like really. There used to be a big question mark on their faces. But online German, some fraud must be. But now you see, I mean, one pandemic and everybody is doing everything online.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
yeah.
I mean, it's not even talked about anymore.
Anyway, it's given, no, that yeah, I mean, hybrid, online, offline, it's such a common thing now. But in 2013, I started teaching, and it really went off very well. And
Okay.
another thing I forgot to mention was that I started my career as a trainee in the South Asia office of Der Spiegel in Delhi. It
Oh,
was, of
that
course, it was
speaking.
only,
Yeah, it was such a popular magazine at that time when
it
we were learning.
was.
Yes.
And at that time in 1992, that Harshad Mehta story had broken up. Yeah, broken out, and there was a lot of material. And there used to be Karad Bank also was involved, and I used to get mails in Marathi also. So my boss, Mr. SP Sinha, was so surprised that I can read Marathi also. And I used to translate Marathi also for him. And he was there. I had an opportunity to tele also during that time. Yes, because
Somewhere.
my Mark Telly,
Wow.
that the journalist from BBC, yeah, because my
Yes,
boss had
yes.
taken had an interview with him on this whole issue. So that was also, although it was just 3 months, but very happy memories of that time.
Okay. Great. That must have been such an enriching experience.
Very,
And
very, very much so. Absolutely, yes,
now, about your presentation in the conference
yeah,
about integrating AI with German teaching.
yeah.
So, I'm curious to know what you have presented. So, tell us a few things about it.
Right. So as I told you that AI must have been started about 10 years ago, right? So actively. But for a person like me who woke up very late to the reality, yeah. So I was never the technology person. But slowly when I got into it, then I realized that, yeah, maybe to some extent it can help the teacher. Yeah. How does it help? In which way can it help? That suppose if I want to tell my students there's very time limitation and I want the students to work on a particular project. Yeah. So I just create a few pictures. I just generate a few pictures. I give to four different groups and I tell them that you just have to look at those four different pictures and you have to tell me the objects present in the picture, their article and their plural forms. That's it. Yeah, small. But in that, the AI is so useful to me. Otherwise, I have to download picture, then picture has to be, yeah. But here, everybody and students are made very independent of that. Of course, I mean there is a Schattenseite also, that there is negative aspect also, that many students really want to depend on Chat GPT for answers and all. But those who are really good at it, they can see the number of maps at just one click. You just have to just generate, give a command, and then everything is generated. Yeah. So I thought that it can aid a German teacher. Yeah, the AI is definitely a very, very good tool for that. Lot of things can be covered in the most hilarious manner, very colorful. Yeah, like something what memes used to do a while ago, right? So these pictures really create that very colorful atmosphere or colorful presentation to a concept. Yeah. So in that way, I thought, and because I was the presentation I gave was of very basic nature, and the whole point that I was trying to tell my fellow German teachers from North Zone was that if I can do it, you can also do it. That was my bottom line.
Okay.
That was the punchline, that if I can do it, you can also do it. Just try it.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Hmm.
and I always start my classes talking little bit about Germany. So again, then you get a lot of pictures so that people have some idea about. Otherwise it's such an abstract thing, foreign language. Yeah. So you have to little concretize it. And with the help of AI you can do it rather well.
You're so right. Yes.
Mm.
It's helping us teachers actually.
Yeah, it can definitely not replace it. It can definitely not replace it. It can replace probably a ticket checker at the airport. Yeah, it can probably replace waitresses or waiters in the restaurant. Yeah, but it can definitely not replace the doctors and teachers. This is my understanding. I might be wrong, but this is how I look at it. Because that personal touch and personal understanding of the situation, only a human brain can have, not an AI thing.
Right. And the monitoring and control of the student's mind.
Evaluation, yes, absolutely, absolutely, right,
Validation.
very true.
Yes. I'm sure with your vast experience, you must have had innumerable memories while teaching. So, could you share a few with us?
Oh, there are lots. And one thing I want to add, whether it is a academic institute or a corporate sector, the teacher's profession in India, at least today, at least till now, is considered to be a good profession. Yeah, at least good teachers are really respected. This is what I have seen. I mean, I still continue to get messages on uh, Guru Purnima, on Teachers Day, on Diwali. Students I have taught 20 years ago probably, right?
Oh, okay.
And yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I
Mhm.
had some tragedy in the family. I was sitting at Delhi airport and I was crying, and there was a student who came and who just touched my feet. I said, and I was like, taken aback. He says, "Ma'am, any problem? Can I help you?" I said, "Who are you?" So he says, "You have taught me at IIT Kanpur."
Oh, that's so
Yeah,
sweet. Yeah.
absolutely. So this profession has its charm still intact. Yeah, and I'm very happy about that.
It's a very heartening moment. isn't it?
It is absolutely, absolutely. And talking about very interesting moment, one day was an exceptional chaotic day at IIT Kanpur, and I was like really upset with those students, you know. And so I really said, I said, I'm really disappointed. I said, you guys are in no mood. Then one day, one boy, maybe in his early 20s, he stood and he apologized. He says, ma'am, yours is the only class where we can laugh and we can, you know, we can cut jokes and we enjoy your classes so much that we really relax and we will learn also a lot. Yeah, but please don't mind. We just have had our tests and also now we are very happy that the examples that you are giving, we are just so happy. So I thought maybe then I should also uh, you know be lenient on them even if they're little chaotic. And another thing, a very good thing, one student told me at Mercedes-Benz was that, ma'am, when we joined this course, this 22 of us were total strangers. Even if we were working in the same organization for so long, we didn't know anyone. And now that today is the last day and you're leaving us, because then the teacher would change and all that. So she said, now we have almost become like a family because we trust each other, we exchange ideas, we meet somewhere in the corridors of Mercedes, we exchange greetings, we sometimes eat together, we walk, we go for walks and all that. So then I thought that that was another battle won, you know. So not just as a German teacher, but also as somebody who could bring people together. And a very good point. Another girl said that when you job, she was the topper of the class. She says, I thought I was the best student, and now I see that those who were not doing so well, even they are competing with me. So I know, so I was able to bring the class to one level, and I thought that was a very big achievement. And I even today, many of my coordinators and the corporate people, they say that, ma'am, you give too much attention to those who are not interested. I think that he's not interested. Let us just scrap him. I said no. I said let's give some chance. I mean, who knows? Language is a very different. It's not like physics, chemistry, biology. No, that and mathematics. You just learn the formulas, and mathematics is like languages actually. You have to really internalize a lot of things, so people take time to speak out, um, to get enough courage to be able to express themselves. So I thought that so that was the third was very very funny, that I was teaching two nuns at a convent in Bangalore.
Okay.
And yeah, so on the last day of the course, they brought one home cake, baked cake and a packet of cashew nuts for me. So I said, Arey, why did you bother? So she said, no, ma'am, you were like really our mother, and we felt so good, madam, that, and all that, their Malayali accent, they were very emotional and all. Later on, it was found out that they were also 1969 born. So I said, what makes you that? I was like mother and all that. I said, we are all same age. She said, no, ma'am, but you are very protecting and you're so understanding. You are so. We were very scared when we started the course, but now we are so comfortable talking at least basic German. So I thought that really stayed with me a lot, because uh, this has happened in IIT Kanpur when we joined the first day in the guest house. There was a batch meeting. Every batch has a annual conference, no? So one gentleman asked me, said, "Oh, you're also 69 batch." So he was an old person. So I must have also looked very old. So he said, "You're." I said, "Yes, sir. I'm also 69 born, but I was born on 16 in 69." So he apologized. He said, "I'm so sorry, ma'am." I said, "Why are you sorry?" I said, "It's okay. It's fine." So these are some of the interesting things that they keep happening, all the time.
And that gives us so much energy to keep doing what we are doing.
Yes, yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Now, moving on to translations from teaching,
Yeah,
you have translation and transcription work.
yeah.
So, tell us about that also.
Yeah, so translation. So I mean, you will be very surprised that since my college days, my father has been, because my father and my elder uncle were avid readers. Uncle is no more. My father is there, 86 years old. So they are like great lovers of Marathi literature. So whatever used to come from Lok Satta, Maharashtra Times, and those Diwali Anka, and whatever nice poems, and we were just made to translate them into Hindi, so that it can be uh, shared with. And those days there were no WhatsApps and all that, right? So my father actually used to take the trouble of writing down the on the postcards and then send it to his friends. Kusumagrajancha Kavita, for examples. Yeah. So, I mean, the translation thing for me was like it really helps to enrich one society or one kind of people from another. Maybe vice versa. Yeah. So I did lot of such translations since my college days. Yeah. Small agricultural Badi Raja, for example. Whatever my father would find something interesting, then ultimately my father was one of the very big contributors to Badi Raja, and his articles used to get published in that. But we had that I consider myself very lucky in that sense that I had such very rich childhood in that sense. So mm, Hindi, English, and Marathi, all three newspapers we used to have. My father was not a very moneyed person, but he always made sure that we had all this. So it really helped. It helped a lot. And then my first formal transcription assignment I got when my son was just 6 or 7 months old. So there was this Cambridge PhD scholar who was doing her PhD in Harda in Madhya Pradesh, and she had done a lot of interviews and covering about 100 cassettes, Sony cassettes, and she wanted somebody to translate them, transcribe them into English. All Hindi interviews from students, teachers, parents, block officers, education machinery, and all that. So all the interviews were done with the help of a boy in Hindi, and she wanted to. So she also gave me her notebook, one small notebook, and she said, "Kalyani, this notebook doesn't work, but see if." And my husband, being a magician, he has some Midas touch. He just cleaned up that notebook, and it worked. It worked for several years, and did those transcription while my son was just 6 months old, and I listened to those interviews and transcribed them into English. So that was my
Oh,
first experience of work from home. Yeah,
I see. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So that was wonderful. That was very. And she told me, Elspeth Page, now she's a good friend of mine. She said, Kalani, right now I don't have any money, so I can only give you this much. But I promise you that when I have money, I will pay sufficiently. And she did, and she kept her promise.
That's
So
so
one,
nice.
yeah, yeah. And then translation. Then I always wanted to translate Idga into German, which I have never been able to. Idga is a very famous poem by Premchand. Yeah, it has got many layers of the society of that time, and the poverty, and in that poverty, the relationship between a grandmother and grandson, and all that's a beautiful story. And I do hope that I'm able to translate that story into German one day. Yeah,
I'm
it's a
sure
very
you will.
nice. I do want to. Yeah,
According to you, what are the qualities that one should have to become a translator? Or, I mean, not professionally, even generally, to
generally,
translate
yeah,
something.
yeah.
What do you think one should have? What capabilities one should possess?
I think more than capability, you have to have respect and love for both the languages. The language of origin and the target group language. Yeah. So if I want to translate something from Marathi into Hindi, because I really think that Marathi has a very rich legacy of very very rich literature, and I've got huge respect for Marathi literature, uh, and because I feel that something is missing out there in Hindi speaking world, and I do want to contribute my little bit in this field, so I want to translate them. So whatever I read something interesting, I immediately translate it into Hindi. Like I told you that we translated one whole calendar in one day, all 12 months. Me, my father, and my sister. My sister is in Pune, my father is in Indore, I was in Bhopal. And we got found this, somebody sent him this calendar on Gandhi, that 12 or 7 misconceptions about Gandhi. And we thought that this was, you may not like Gandhi, right? But there's no harm in knowing something about him. Yeah. So we just sat through, and in one day, literally in 24 hours, we just divided for 4 months, and we translated from Marathi into Hindi. And we got it, and then we also distributed it a lot amongst friends and all. So my father likes to spend money on these kinds of things a lot. So he got about 1,000 copies of those calendars, and he distributed them to various organizations. And yeah, so
Oh, great.
translation means, I mean, of course, you should know the language. It's always very good that knowing a language helps. Reading helps. Uh,
I think
not just for
you highlighted that when you told us about your childhood, about
yeah,
how your father
yeah,
inculcated that habit.
absolutely.
So reading is very important.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it must have been a natural fallout for you to write articles. Am I
Yes,
right?
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. My
So how did it
first
happen?
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
My first serious article got published in 1988. I was one of the founding members of Spick McCain MP. Yeah. So there was this
Mhm.
program by Pandit Narayan Vyas, and I was a young girl, maybe of 18 or 19 years old, and I wrote this article for Nai Duniya magazine. Nai Duniya was a very big, very respected newspaper. Very funnily, you will realize, maybe when we meet we can talk about it. There are so many Marathi people who have done so much in MP, right? So the chief editor
Yeah,
of Nai Duniya was Rahul Barpute. So Rahul
I
Barpute
see.
was a very great Vidwan, I mean, um, so he saw my article and he was the chief editor. And instead of just putting it somewhere on, he put it on the editorial page, which was a rare thing. And then he called me that day, that night, me and my father. My father was his friend, not friend, but a junior friend. There was an age difference. And then he explained me one by one what all he liked about my article and what all he did not like about my article. And then I started writing in various, of course everything that you write doesn't get published, but now that doesn't bother me actually, because that urge to write is far greater than getting it
Exactly.
published and seen. Yeah. So I feel whatever I feel like now, right now, I'm trying to translate a very good book that my father wrote on Dabolkar sir. Narendra
Acha.
Dabolkar's brother was an agriculture scientist. He was a physicist actually, but he has done
Oh,
Prayog Parivar in Kolhapur. They have done fantastic work in the field of agriculture and organic farming and natural farming. So
I
my
see. Can
father
you?
considers himself as a shishya of Dabolkar sir. So he has written a very
Mhm.
small booklet on Dabolkar. So I'm trying to translate it into German.
Oh,
So
into German. Okay.
yeah, into
That's.
German. Because
Can you
Hindi,
tell?
English, he has done. My father has done Hindi, English versions already. The way he treats, I mean, when you read it, you will love it actually, because he used to actually talk to the plants, and it was very interesting that a physicist of a great repute um, turned to agriculture, and the way he completely, I mean, growing grapes in Kolhapur was unheard of, right? But
Correct.
now it's a common thing, and he has done fantastic experiments. And the name of the organization itself is Prayog Parivar.
That's very telling name.
Very, very, very telling name. Yeah, and they have actually lived that every day. That live that experience every day.
Yes, right. What kind of literature or media do you personally enjoy in German or any other language? Since you are an avid reader.
I like to read books. I have yet not moved to Kindle, although my son and my husband, they do want to push me to. I downloaded the autobiography of Angela Merkel, and but beyond a few pages, because somehow that feel of holding the book in hand and lazing around in one corner of the sofa, that is so great. So, but I still I prefer to read books. Yeah, but of course the videos are nowadays, I see a lot of old speeches, and that is also very, I mean, if somebody is enthusiastic about languages, no one should really um not just read the textbooks, but also listen to the speeches. Yeah, the old memories, memoirs, and that really helps in constructing that era. You have an idea about what we are talking about. So suppose today, I mean, if I were to talk about say someone like एक Maharashtrian example यदि लेना है तो इरावती कर्वे का यदि इरावती कर्वे was a phenomenon in herself. Yeah. So if I want to know something about Iravati, I have to know about that period, a little bit about that period. Then I'll be able to appreciate her work, her constraints, her limitations, and today sitting here in 21st century and talking about and giving remarks against her or for her, or belittling somebody's work doesn't help. You have to know that with which era he or she lived, and what was must have been the constraints of those times. So that really helps.
Correct. And which genre of literature do you enjoy the most?
Autobiographies.
I
I
see.
don't
Okay.
know, yeah. Right from Charlie Chaplin to, I mean, very recently, this Vijay Mehta's was very good. Jimma, then Lamand, lot of them. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Autobiographies
Okay.
are yeah. The ones that I most found boring was by Sachin Tendulkar and Dilip Kumar. My God, sorry to say this, but such glossing over the facts, and very showing only very nice picture, no controversial thing at all. That Nasruddin Shah, on the other hand, was like absolutely uh,
I think it was
full.
a forthright, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. So autobiographies, I relate to them very strongly, and that's how I also tend to, you know, think about my past and create stories out of it. Like the stories you must have read about Kabir's childhood, both these experiences, and so these stories I like to write about personal experiences. Yeah, autobiographies.
Hmm, hmm.
Mm.
Okay. Very nice. What languages do you find interesting and drawn to?
Other than Hindi, English, Marathi, and German, I really regret that I don't know any of the South Indian languages. Although we did try to learn little bit of Kannada while we were in Bangalore for almost 13, 14 years, but it didn't work that much because now, yeah, it didn't. But I really wanted, knowing Tamil would have been very nice. Yeah. Um, so I have my regret about it. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Hmm. Okay. That was a lovely conversation. I enjoyed learning about, how you teach, how you translate, how you write. So that, and of course, about your reading habit, which is so, so important. So
It
thank you
is.
so
It
much,
is.
Kalyan, for sharing your journey, your insights, and your passion for language with us
Thank you
today.
so much. Thank you so much. I have a long way to go, Lalita, but I'm really happy to have met you, and I really hope that you enrich my journey further.
Oh, yes, likewise. The feeling is mutual.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for being a part of Language Talks. I wish
Thank
you
you.
all the best for all your future endeavors. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Lalita. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone, for joining me in conversation with Kalyani. See you in the next episode. Till then, have a great day. Bye bye.